recommendations contained therein. Any comments on the as amended, Mark? Go ahead.
Yes, there was a name change. I had Jacob Zeenstra down on the August 17th Committee of the Whole Planning Minutes, and apparently his first name is Jack, even though in the financial files it says Jacobus, but he goes by Jack.
Yeah. And now Adam would like me to turn on my microphone. Thank you very much. Any other comments on the consent? See, that's what happens when you're gone for, you miss one meeting on holidays, you just lose it totally. Rebecca?
I'd like the annual child care worker and early childhood educator appreciation day correspondence pulled, please.
Very good. Anything else? All right. Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Mark, you can hand out those resolutions so that they can be given effect. And that brings us down to the regular agenda, communications from mayor and council. So is there any councillors that have any communications, good news? Councillor Hutchison. Doug?
Sure. A couple of events that have happened in the past few days or week, I guess. For those people that were involved, there was a Parkinson walk in Hanover on Saturday, September 9th, and very good turnout there. A lot of work put on by that organization. It's always a very successful one, and they're making great strides in coming up with ideas of how to deal with Parkinson. So that was a great event. Good to see people out for that, and it was a beautiful day. And then last week on September 12th, which was, I think it was a Tuesday evening, the Grey County official plan public meeting was held in Durham. And not a huge turnout, but an okay turnout. And they were pleased to get some feedback on the official plan. And maybe someone else will want to speak to this, but maybe more details. But basically looking for input on the official plan. And people there gave them some ideas, and we had an informative evening. Then on yesterday, there was a Terry Fox run held in Durham, and I believe it's called West Grey Terry Fox because there aren't too many others in West Grey, I believe. And it was a very good turnout again, and a beautiful day. And I didn't hear exactly how many funds they had raised, but over the course of a number of years, they've done really well in this area to raise funds for cancer. So that was a good turnout, and I believe we had the mayor and a number of other people there also. So that were some of the events that I was aware of in the last few days. Thank you.
Thanks, Doug. Anyone else? Rebecca? Sure.
On Friday, I went to a Grey County planning workshop, and it was regarding park management plan. That's something we'll need to look forward to next year for any monies that are given in lieu of parkland, the dedication fund. We're going to have to have a management plan available, and that we're always updating and so on. So that was interesting. The recolor gray, they still are looking for comments at the county, and the mapping and official plan won't come until November. This weekend was the New Stat Fall Fair. Lots of activities there. Congratulations to the New Stat Norman B. Carrick Agricultural Society. It was a really fun event, all Friday and Saturday. The September 25th meeting, we're going to have discussions on the trailer bylaw. And September 26th, the Ayton Library, there's going to be discussions on the Council on Aging, Gray and Bruce. So get out to that if you can. Thanks.
Councillor Lawrence. Carol?
I just wanted to, I just wanted to add to Doug's comments about Terry Fox, Smith. Just to say the Durham girls were there and played and started the runners off. I think that's probably the third or fourth year that we've supplied that.
Very good, and I thank all the representatives that represented municipality and municipal interests and myself while I was away. I did, Joanne and I took a few days of holidays, and you'll notice I wasn't here at the last council meeting. So I thank individuals for that. I did get down to the Newstead Fall Fair for the Ambassador program on Friday night, and again there for the opening and the parade on Saturday. They couldn't have asked for better weather. It was just terrific. I have been there a few times at the Newstead Fair and a few other fairs where it wasn't quite as nice, so they did enjoy a great day, and congratulations to them on that. Anyways, that's it, unless there's any other, that's it from my perspective. We do have a delegation, but before we get to the delegation, I've got a presentation, and I don't know whether it's to a Public Works employee that represented Wes Gray very admirably in his skills and his skill set, and in the provincial playdowns, I guess, is the best operator, truck operator municipally in Ontario, and we have him here this evening, and I didn't know whether his boss, Mr. Glazier, Brent, did you want to add anything else to the accolades for Mr. Kilpatrick?
No, Your Worship, actually, I was just going to say that Scott represented Wes Gray as a great ambassador at the provincial runoffs in Cornwall. Just a bit of a background, Scott competed locally at the roads runoff truck rodeo in Owen Sound, I believe. Grey Bruce Challenge, Simcoe, Grey Bruce Simcoe? Just Grey Bruce. Sorry, Grey Bruce. Finished second overall at that meet, and I think the top 3 finishers are eligible to go to provincial. Scott, am I correct? First and second, okay. So top 4, 2 from each county. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So Scott managed to do actually exceptionally well. The story he told me, he competed against 40 competitors down in Cornwall and was in first place up until the last 5 runners for the day. So he got bumped out. Would you miss it, Scott, by about that much?
3 points.
3 points, okay. 3 points out of a possible 400, correct? Yeah.
And that equates to about 1.5 inches.
It could be less, but anyways, yeah. No, I think it's great that we have such fine people like Scott that can achieve those kind of awards outside our area. And like I said, he represented Wes Gray admirably, and quite proud of his achievements, as is his peers and his supervisor.
So I don't know, is this mic working? Good. Scott, I would ask you to come forward on behalf of the municipality. I have a certificate I'd like to present to you. I know that this is not quite as worthy as probably the awards and all the accolades that you got from OGRA on the competition, but on behalf of the council and on behalf of the residents of West Gray, thank you very much for representing us tremendously. And I know I've known Scott for quite a while, and I'm just grateful that he drives a truck a lot better than he played goal when he was a hockey. Scott, just a little gift on our behalf, and see that girl over there? She was, yeah.
Thank you to Wes Gray for the opportunity that I had to go down there with the other competitors, get to learn their techniques and everything. It was just a good event to go to. So thank you very much.
Look forward to you competing again next year. Thank you very much. Yeah, he'll probably be on the consulting professional circuit from here on in. Yeah, giving that But great to hear, and again, congratulations to you, sir. There you are, Mark. And with that, we do have a delegation this evening. Rick Knapp, welcome Rick, and your wife, to discuss about Side Road 10 in Bentinck. So I'm going to say the floor is yours. If you could use the podium, that Brent will turn the microphone on there for you. And
Does that work?
that is working. So the floor is yours.
All right. As you
Welcome,
know,
Cindy.
that we live on the Sullivan-Bentinck Town line of Side Road 10, and you've all seen the other information we've sent to you. The reason we're here today is because we've had more incidents, a little more concerning than the last. Biggest concerns right now is trespassers into our property in the middle of the night and the middle of the day. We have young kids that play in our back area, in our back fields, and it was 2 Sundays ago that they were playing hide and seek and around the trucks and stuff, and all of a sudden there's a man standing on the other side of the parking lot coming through the bush. It's starting to get unsafe, that we feel for our family, that this road is allowing people access to our property that's very secluded, easy to get at, and easy to get away from. There's no traffic on it, on that access, per se. We've called the police, and there's not a whole lot they can do. We're at the far end of the township. By the time we call, people are always gone from that end as it is. And their answer is, as long as that side road's there, it's an easy access and easy out. Nobody's around, nobody's catching them, except us. Unfortunately, the ones that we do catch, we try to scare away. But we had other incidents that the kids built a little fort back off of our parking lot in the bush, and twice they've stayed out there and come back to the house that they hear voices. Once I was quick enough to get up, jump in the truck, and go down the side road and scared somebody away. But it's starting to get that we can't enjoy our own property. There's nobody else who owns property. I own both sides of that road. So there's really no reason for that road. It's only a one-lane road. You cannot pass another vehicle on it. It's not well maintained. It's only a summer maintenance. There's no winter maintenance on it. It's the old corduroy road, so the cords are always coming up through it. The culverts are showing. You can see every culvert, there's 3 of them along there. 2 of them don't even work. The one does kind of run water, but you can completely see it through the gravel. I'm here to ask that I know you're doing a road survey or assessment in the future. We would like this looked after sooner than later. We don't feel comfortable with it like that. I've talked to the neighbor across the road who lives directly across. His access is from the Sullivan-Bentinck Town line. They have a small farm access in the one field, and he is all for trying to get this closed because he's having the same issues, people going in and using his little parking area. Basically, we're here to ask you to see what you can do and help us out to make this road get closed. Save the township money and us a whole lot of headache. The amount of garbage is getting dumped on it. I'm getting tired of picking it up, so we've stopped as much as we can. If it's unsafe, we've called the township to come and clean it up, and they can't just jump just because somebody's breaking the laws and dumping garbage on the road. We're getting dead animals dumped. Stinks, it's gross, it's nasty. I don't think we should have to live around that. That's it. That's all I'm here to ask.
Okay, thank you, Rick. Would you entertain any questions? If there are
Absolutely.
any. Any questions from any of the council members at this point in time? Rob, Councillor Thompson.
Yes, thank you. To the south of your residence, how many landowners are there down there that needs access on that road?
None.
Not one?
Nope.
It's all open farm fields, and some of it, a lot of it bush.
All behind me is bush, and I own both sides.
Yeah, yeah.
So there's no reason for anybody to have access to that road. There's a property directly behind me, which he's just a house and a little bit of bush behind, and his access is from the 14th.
Right.
I own the other side, which really doesn't even have an access except for that side road, which I don't really care because you couldn't use it anyways. It's a swampland.
Yeah.
It's got one good field, and that's about it.
I'm just kind of curious, when you confront these people that are walking on your property, do you have a conversation with them, or why are they there?
They're there to steal and break into our equipment and our trucks and our tools and everything else.
Okay.
We have all our work trucks parked in behind the house, which is a bit of a parking lot, and we have a small shop back there. And for the local people, they know what's there. And we've had people break in before. We had one break in, but I caught them. And they took off, and then we put an alarm system in that week. And then we had more break-ins, but the alarm system scared them off. And then we had, it goes away for a while, and then it starts to come back again. And now it's back to it. It's getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
So now we've just put up cameras all the way. I put 7 cameras up for security. I shouldn't have to do that.
No, you're right.
And we're actually putting cameras on the side road, hunting cameras, and trying to catch the police said, put it on, try and get license plates. Car drives by, you can't get it. Only if it stops and right in front of the camera, the perfect situation, so.
I know we've had this discussion in council before here, just about what to do there, because we know there's some issues, and I think Mr. Glassier is working on a road study to look at things, and that was one of the reasons we sort of put it off, because we wanted to get a handle on other roads too. But is it possible that we could do a temporary closure? I don't know the in and outs of that, a temporary closure. And my other question, when I think about it, is how do we stop people from using ATVs or people even from walking down that road, even though they can't access it by a vehicle?
Put a gate on it, and it's swamp on both sides. You're not going to get an ATV around that. It's if you put it on the 14th, you physically can't get around it. And if you put it at the road, close enough to the road at the Sullivan-Bentinck Town line, there's nowhere to park. We used to get the odd person parking and walking a dog down there, but most of the time, if you got somebody hunting with their dogs on the side road, and then we'd have to go out, and you can't hunt from a side road, you can't hunt on either side, it's our we don't really get anybody walking, except the neighbors. Well, I walk down it, the neighbors walk down it, that's about it.
Okay, any other questions or comments? John,
Yeah,
Deputy Mayor Bell.
thank you, Mr. Mayor. Rick, good presentation. Yeah, we've been aware that there's some problems there. But you haven't recognized any garbage? You haven't looked at for names or anything in garbage or anything? Haven't found
I don't
anything?
normally go through the garbage, but there's
No,
been a couple of times, yes, there's been garbage. We called the town on the one, and there was names on it. That's up to the town to decide what they want to do with that. But we even called the police on the garbage. We're getting truckloads. Like, we have a construction company, so we can pick some of it up and throw it in the dump truck, and it goes to the dump.
Okay.
But that's not really what we should have to do. But they're not dumb. Most of the time, they're dumping dirty, old, nasty garbage and everything else, or we get a lot of landscaping, old trees and brush and shrubs and everything else dropped up. That's not the end of the world. It's the dead animals and the stuff with drugs in it, needles. I've kicked several people off doing drugs on it. I blocked one person in with my truck and called the police, so they couldn't get out. And I think I was there 15 minutes before the police showed up.
Yeah. So, yeah, and just to clarify again, you own on both sides of the road from the 14th to the town line?
I own pretty much all of it, yes. There's the property behind us, which we split 25 acres along that road, and there's no way to get access into that. It's just pure wet on his and part of mine. And then I own almost all from 14th all the way up to Sullivan-Bentinck Town line.
On the other side, on the west side.
Both sides, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's split on the.
It's split,
East side
yeah,
to the
yeah.
south.
It was the original 200 acres or whatever it was. But
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Rebecca? Brent, you got any comments, or?
Other than the fact I, as council are aware, that I took council through that road on our bus tour, and I think council remembers the condition of the road. Mr. Knapp is correct, it's only a one-lane access through that road. If two cars were to meet in the swamp, I don't know where one's gonna go because they're not getting out, but regardless. That road to me is a bit of a liability in the shape and condition that it's in, and with the garbage issue, that's been an ongoing issue. I know Rick has called me several times. I know our staff have gone out and cleaned up as much as Mr. Knapp has cleaned up, and he is correct. The last time we cleaned up, there was a pile of needles in one of the boxes, and I worry for, you know, Rick is right, that there is a health and safety concern, but I also am worried about our staff cleaning up stuff like that. If they were to get something injected into their body through needles and stuff, and unfortunately, we knew who the perpetrator was. There was evidence of the names and things, but I'm a little frustrated that the law enforcement can't do more. We had, I think, an eyewitness account of who dumped the material there. I don't know why couldn't have been followed up on, but regardless, it's frustrating. And the reason why they dump it there is because there's hardly any traffic on that road. They know they can get away with dumping stuff on a road that isn't maintained or isn't traveled upon readily. And and besides the other section of road south of the 10th Mary Rutherford's a similar situation.
Yeah.
It's a place where people don't hardly go, and easy access to dump refuse that people don't want to take to the dump. That's just my comment. But getting back to closure on it, I mean, with Mr. Knapp owning both parcels of land, I wouldn't say that we're not prepared to sell that property. I would say don't do that, but we could close it. I would not sell it or deed it off and get rid of it, because you don't know what the future is going to be in the municipality. I mean, potential of growth, and Mr. Knapp could move away from that or sell a portion. I don't know what his intentions are in the future, but regardless, you still have to consider those avenues. And but anyways, that's just my comments.
Okay, thank you, Brent. Before you leave, Rick, I did receive this, and then obviously individual knew that you were going to be here, so I'm going to read this little note that was sent in by a neighbor of yours. It starts, our concerns about closing side road 17, or side road 10, Bentic, between lot 14 and Bentic-Sullivan Town Line. Farmers use this road to stay off the busy highway. Neighbors use it to walk, bike, and ski. Snowmobilers and ATVs use this road. Because there is no winter maintenance, it just needs to be graded a couple of times or so. Isn't really costly. Haven't heard or witnessed any accidents on this stretch of road. Personally, we have a farm property on concession 14, lot 7, and use this road regularly because of its convenience. There's always neighbors or someone else, even Rick himself, using this road. And I'm going to ask Mark, or submit that to Mark. It's Lloyd and Marjorie Maneral.
Yeah, Lloyd lives right across the road from us, and we've known him and been friends for years. He lives in the Sullivan Township.
Yes.
He doesn't live in West Gray. He has a farm property that is, it's on the 14th, but it's much more to the east, in the middle of that block.
Yes.
And it's just as easy for him to go around the other way as it is to go that way. And he's been doing the same thing for 60 years. They don't like change. I understand that, and I've told him the situations, and he doesn't want to go the other way because he's always got a whiskey in his hand. And I don't feel that my safety of my kids is prudent, and I did tell him this flat out to him, so it's not a surprise. But I did tell him that no, this, you would go the other way. The safety of the kids and everything is more important than you having your drink and going around the yard. So,
Okay. So I'll ask Mark to put that in and your statements, and if there's nothing else, what I can say to you, Rick, is, yeah, we have had some discussion about this, haven't come to any conclusions yet. You're correct. Brent is on a roads needs, roads analysis, and the future of what roads we're going to have. I'm not saying that we're going to close this road, not saying that we're going to expand it, make it into 4 lanes where ATVs and tractor trailers and everything else can go down it. But we will take your comments into consideration when we're going forward, and, you know, maybe there is a solution here for yourself and maybe Mr. Manero, that we put gates on it and have keys so that it's access to 2 or 3 individuals that really do business along on that road. That may be, and I'm saying just, that's hypothetical, one of the solutions that could be put forward. But I'm going to say, hopefully in another 2.5 months, we'll probably have a weather incident that will close the road for only just snowmobilers. Sometimes it might even be 3 or 4 weeks before we have that incident, but I'm hoping 2 or 3 months before we get snow. But it will be something that we'll certainly take note of and work at in bringing Brent's report back, which we hope will be over the winter here, when we've got a bit more information on road access and road use, traffic volumes going one way and the other, as to which roads we can keep. And I think Brent mentioned another one is Mary Rutherford side road. We have some of the same issues there of what we're going to do to alleviate stupidity more than anything from some of our residents out there, or maybe some of the residents from Chatsworth, who knows, or Bruce County as well too, when we're that close. It is a few that have disturbed and destroy the good use of the majority of people, but when that happens, we'll have to take action. So that is the best I can say, and thank you again for coming and giving us some of the information that you have and
okay.
some of the experiences you have to deal with.
Yep, I just hope we don't have to wait too long on it.
No. Doug, fine.
Just one more comment. I think, Rick, it's important to understand, I think, from our perspective, is that even if we close that road, it still becomes a public road, a public access. So I'm thinking, like, it doesn't become private. So if somebody wants to take a walk down that road, we can't really stop them unless something happens that we make it private, right? And right now, it would be still public. I don't see them as being the issue, though. Like, I don't think they're going to carry a bag garbage down the road and to dump it, right?
No,
So,
it's
yeah,
the ones that can drive, park,
right,
get in
Yeah.
and steal stuff. They're
Yeah.
not gonna carry heavy stuff out,
no.
make it hard. Those are the ones that are trying to.
That's right. But then I'm thinking in the wintertime too, we may have people who want to access it for snowmobiling, like, because it is a public road, and I don't know where that's
Nobody
going and
really-
whether that's.
There's a couple neighbors around that use that as a
It's
shortcut
not,
through. and-
it's not a common one? Okay.
No,
All right.
it's just the
not part of
local
the trail.
guys around.
Yeah,
We all kind of cut through there and then grab the main road and up to the trail.
right, okay. So, but I guess point two is that if your children are on that road, they're really on a public road, not a private road, right? So if somebody comes down that road, I mean, they have the right to be on that road,
Absolutely.
just like your children do, so.
Yeah.
But obviously, I understand the safety concerns you have, so.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Again, thank you, Rick.
Thanks.
Snap. And we'll go on to the next part of the agenda. Any business arising from the previous meeting? Any new business from the previous meeting? Don't think we've got any. Staff reports? That'll be under new business, Rebecca. Staff reports. And Carrie? First one up on all of that good stuff. And I believe on page, where are we at? 58? Yep, there we are. Thank you. And the first one is is the voucher. Number 8. That's 18 here. Okay, I'll get it changed, don't worry. Yeah, I'll get it changed. Okay, it's on the accounts, voucher number 18 for 2017. Any comments, questions on the vouchers? Doug? Councillor Hutchison.
I just had one question regarding the soccer field expenses. It's on page 72, page 12 on yours, Carrie. Just curious about the fund. What fund are they accessing there? There was some monies that we were paying out, it sounds like. I just have to look it up here.
The soccer club will reimburse us for those.
Okay, right, so, oh yeah, the mini excavate, right, so that was
Yeah.
part of their
They were,
construction?
yeah,
Part of the
finishing
expansion.
the
And
bit of the sign or the area where they were
Landscaping
clearing for
and-
that.
so that was part of that money that they put in there to help with the costs, right? There was like 50,000 or something when they started working on the field.
This is over and above any of
That's
that. They
above
will
that?
be paying 100% of these costs. Our contribution has been used up.
No, but they had put in funds into an account to help cover that, so,
They hold their own funds. I have to
Yeah.
bill them for this.
okay, thank you.
Yep. Okay. Rebecca? Councillor Herger?
Regarding the same Durham Soccer Club, is this when they did their signage? They brought us a drawing of it, and we said, that's not acceptable, please bring us back something that is acceptable?
They were doing some work around that landscaping area.
Is this these big armor stones that we said?
didn't do the others.
No, okay,
They probably just put a sign up, but I
Okay.
haven't seen it.
okay. I'll look forward to reviewing that work. Thank you.
Very good. Okay, anything else? Have a motion moved by Bev Cutting, seconded by Carol Lawrence. Be it resolved that the Director of Finance Treasurer be authorized to pay the accounts presented as voucher number 18, 2017, of the Municipality of West Grey in the amount of $2,410,893.84. Any questions or comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. The next one is the Municipal Greenhouse Gas Challenge. Any questions on this one? It's here for information. Rebecca, go ahead.
Do we currently have a plan together? No, so then we would apply for the second round of funding, right, to get a plan together if we were interested in it. Okay, thank you.
And that would be on an interest basis if we wanted to get into that program. Okay. And the next one is transfer from the insurance reserve for deductibles. We should maybe ask our police to take some driving lessons from Mr. Kilpatrick. Oh, I see he's left. That may help out.
The deer should take some running.
Deer should take some running lessons from Evasive from the soccer club, maybe? Yeah, I don't think that deer is going to come back and give us any problems going forward. I do have a motion prepared here. It's moved and seconded, moved by Rob Thompson, seconded by Doug Hutchison. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the transfer of $5,000 from the insurance reserve to the police budget to offset the deductible from a claim to cruiser number 8. Any questions or comments on this motion?
Just a comment.
Go ahead, Bev.
This is the time of year when the nights start to get cool and things that people should be extremely careful because we have a huge amount of deer collisions in West Grey and they're quite often serious, so.
Certainly can be, and it already has started. I have a relative that dinged up a brand-new pickup truck because one came crashing right into the side and right over the truck. So anyways, I can't believe that you'd be that dangerous of a driver out there that you would hit some deer, Councillor Cutting, but it is not a laughing matter when you do hit one, that's for sure, so be careful out there, drivers. Any further questions or comments on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Any other questions for Carrie at this point in time? Any comments, Carrie, further?
I've received quotations. Steve has given them for we had to do the insulation of the pipes with the furnace or the unit that we installed at the library. So he's received those. We knew that at the time that was outside of the installation of the unit. So we have received. He's gotten several quotes, and the lowest quote is a total of $4,650. That's for insulating pipes and foam in the frame and insulating the outside, and it's the thickest amount of the insulation. The next ones were just over that, $4,975, and the other one was between $5,000 and $6,000. They didn't. They just did a verbal quote because they were quite busy. So. Just looking when you do the motions at the end of the meeting, if you want to approve that quotation.
So you are asking for a notice of motion to come forward, direct motion to approve this?
Direct motion, that was, yeah. Yes, I'll bring it in and slide it to Mark on my way out here.
Okay, that's just given us... Yep, go ahead.
I'm not sure on that.
Can you use your microphone, Carrie? Sorry.
Yep. It doesn't note any completion, but the sooner that we're able to commit to it, the sooner it may be able to be scheduled in, I would think, but I don't know. I know, but I just didn't know if you had any comment. Yeah, yeah.
That job should be done on a Saturday or Sunday.
Sunday or Monday, it said.
That's supposed to be an after that, but you come to a time frame where it's gonna get too cold to spray foam. Or probably a month at the most, and then you can't spray anything outside, it would have to be heated, so.
So you're guaranteeing us, Mr. Tremblay, your company, to be able to do this work within 2 weeks?
And I didn't even know that I was, yeah, for a quote, but would have to be done real soon. Unless we get more Sundays like this Sunday. We could wait till the first.
I think what you're saying, Don, is you're aware of the time frame, and your company will work towards doing that. Yeah. Okay, well, the sun is supposed to shine Saturday and Sunday, and you're a gentleman that works 24/7, so I expect nothing less. Okay, all right, we'll have that coming forward. Rebecca?
Stuck Energy, Stuke Energy? Strike, is that how you pronounce that? And Harrison Insulation was the verbal one. Climate Care didn't want to quote, they were too busy, they couldn't do the job.
Yeah. And Can Do Homes. So.
It's Can Foam.
Sorry. Can.
Branching out.
Very good. All right, Don, thank you.
I think I did say Can.
Yeah. Okay. All right, any other questions or comments, Carrie? No? Nothing for Carrie? We'll let you slip out and do up a resolution for us then for that installation. Okay, down to clerk's report. Mark? The first thing is a DJ Land Developments Limited request. Mark?
Yes, so Don Tremble has submitted a letter on behalf of DG Land Developments Limited requesting permission to construct 2 model homes on their 13-lot residential lots located on the south side of Chester Street West in the town of Durham. There is an approved subdivision agreement for that subdivision development, and it has received draft approval from West Gray, and right now it's before the County of Gray for final approval. So again, just for consideration of council, there would have to be an amendment to the subdivision agreement, and I have prepared a bylaw for council's consideration if indeed they're willing to approve the request, and that motion to approve the bylaw could be entertained as a direct motion, again, if council is willing to entertain or support that request from Mr. Trumbull.
Carol. Councillor Lawrence? Oh, okay. So Councillor Lawrence is declaring a conflict on this topic. Any other discussion or comments from any of the council? Rebecca?
Do you know how long ago this went to the county?
A couple of weeks ago,
Yeah, they were waiting on an archaeological study, which was done a year ago, but for some reason it never got to. They have it now. So, and there was, I think that's the last thing that we needed, right, Mark? Was that they have it now in their process, and we didn't know. I thought everything was done, and for some reason it never got to them. And I knew it was done. I had the letter done and passed. So it was just one of those paper things that, you know, until you're ready to sign, oh, we need this. So, you know.
I don't know, Deputy Mayor Bell at the county, whether it would be at county council a week from Thursday, I think is their next county council meeting. It may be then, or it may be before it gets through the process, another couple of weeks to first week, second week in October would be the next one. And the county is the approval authority on subdivisions, and it is Randy, yeah, or delegated. So it doesn't have to go to the province or anything. It's done directly at the county. So it could be the 12th, and could be.
It's just a process, like there's nothing wrong. They said it's sort of just a process now. It has to be stamped for you guys to. So whether he said it's because I didn't get the information, if they're going to fast track, I don't know if that means a week or 2 weeks or whatever. But.
Yeah. Rebecca?
I actually would not vote for this. I wouldn't support it just because the county is above us and I don't want to step on any toes there. However, maybe our representatives to the county could phone a planner or so and help move it along to the next meeting, possibly.
Mr. Bell, you want to comment?
Well, I can. I guess there's a couple different ways you can look at this. You can look at it with the aspect that what has the county or the municipality got to lose? Because if Mr. Trimble goes ahead, I mean, he's doing this at his own risk. Willing to put the money there. Obviously, the streets are done, are laid out. The installation, the pipes there. So going forward, he's spending his money on this project. Quite confident it's going to move forward. That's probably the reason I would support it, moving it ahead. And this has been done in other areas. They always have a show home in other subdivisions, which is quite common. Yeah. So I'm okay with it. If it's that far down the pipe, and that's the only thing holding it up, I'm confident that it's going to move ahead because I would have heard of a red flag on this project before now if it was going to happen. Mm-hmm. That's my view.
Bev?
Why 2 model homes?
Just need to do 2 at a time. Just wanted to get things rolling. Want to kind of create some excitement. And I can do one. It's when you do stuff. I'm just trying to get foundations in for this time of year. We're running out of it. You know, another month, the costs change quite drastically for concrete and everything.
So it's actually more than a model home. It's actually, like if you're doing 2, it's actually.
They're going to be spec houses. They're going to be for sale. Like they're going to be listed and not for sale. And yeah, that's just to create, you know.
So it's the start of the subdivision.
Yeah, I have 7 other houses sold, but they haven't got plans yet for them.
Right.
So there's where we are now with the subdivision. If anybody hasn't been around there, we paved it today.
Yeah.
So that's, I think I probably got $500,000 invested now. So don't think I'm turning around now. it's a time thing in construction. If you don't understand construction, we've had a really wet summer. It's a time frame to get stuff up, and I want to get something up and show the public, and then also put for sales and my real estate agent. I've made him a commitment that I would have him something up to sell this year too, and I kind of fell behind on mine because everything took a lot longer than.
Okay.
At the end of the day, I can do one. Like if you know, in 2 weeks down the road, you know, it takes a process. I got to go for permits. I got to do a lot of stuff. So I already have it okay. So, and not going out thing, but we got them in Hanover. We could have done 4. Right, I'm not using them again, but they had no problem. They had the same kind of thing as John Bell said. You know, if there's a problem, it's your problem, not ours. So,
Is there somebody willing, I mean, this would come as a, do we have a motion, or would become as a direct motion? Yeah. Doug?
Yeah, I'll move it, we take this as a direct motion to move it along.
Well, when we come to direct motions, so you'd be willing to, yeah. So we can do it under a direct motion and get it done that way.
Okay.
So if you do have somebody willing to introduce it, that's good. Okay? Anything else, Mark?
That's it.
All right. Then, I think that brings us down to bylaws, which we have 3, if I'm correct?
4.
Sorry, 4?
5.
Yeah. Okay. 90, 88, 89, 91. So the 4 bylaws that we have on, and we may have another one after a direct motion. Bylaw number 88, I believe this one is recommended by the Committee of the Whole Planning for approval. It's moved by John A. Bell, seconded by Doug Hutchison. Be it resolved that bylaw number 88, 2017, being a bylaw to rezone lands described as Lot 9, Concession 16, former Township of Normanby, Paul and Susan Seifert, B06, 2017, ZA 0817, be now read a first, second, and third time. Passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions or comments on this motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. Next one is bylaw 89. There's a bylaw entering into an agreement to purchase and sale of lands. Moved by R. Herget, second by Bev Cutting. Be it resolved that bylaw number 89, 2017, being a bylaw to authorize entering into an agreement of purchase and sale of lands described as Part 4, Plan 17R448, Geographic Town of Durham, the estate of John Hugh Sedgwick and the estate of Jenny Sedgwick, sale to the Municipality of West Grey, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Is there any questions or comments on this bylaw? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That one's carried. Next one was a bylaw to enter into a voting list management services. It's moved by Rob Thompson, seconded by Doug Hutchison. Be it resolved that bylaw number 90, 2017, being a bylaw to authorize entering into a voter list management services agreement between the Municipality of West Grey and Comprint Systems, Inc., doing business as DataFix, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions or comments on this? Rebecca? Councillor Hergert?
Are all the other municipalities in Grey County that are doing this phone/internet voting, are they all using this one?
Mark, will you comment on
Yes, that I'm aware of. They are both
8 out of
using
9.
Dominion Voting and then DataFix or VoterView software for the voters list.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then
That's 8 out of 9, I believe, that are
That's right,
involved with
yeah.
it.
And then we've checked with Infinity, our computer software. Is there anything else we need there to upgrade, or would that all be included in this?
No, we don't see any issues at all with our software.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? On the motion to call the question, all those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. And the last one is confirming, moved by R. Hergert, seconded by Carol Lawrence, be it resolved that the bylaw number 91, 2017, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the September 18, 2017 council meeting, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book. Any questions or comments on this motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. New business. Councillor Hergert, you had pulled an item from the consent agenda.
So this is an item, a 17th annual childcare
Don?
worker
Just stick around for a second.
and early childhood educator appreciation day. There, while you were away, Mr. Mayor, there was a daycare opening, Vicky's Sandbox in Hanover, that I went to. I didn't get to
Yes.
the ribbon cutting exactly, but did make it out there. It's a really nice facility. And anyway, seeing as how I have young children, and this is very important that we raise children in a safe, secure environment full of all kinds of sensor, activities and so on. This facility was top-notch, though. It's secure from the outside, gates and fencing. It was a really wonderful facility, and I appreciate all the people that have looked after my children. So I would like to put this resolution forward. It's not until October 25th, but if Mark wanted to go ahead with that, read that.
Endorse
Has
it.
to come in
Go ahead,
under
Mark.
A direct motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, council does have a copy of that was included with the miscellaneous correspondence. Again, it would be through a direct motion of 2/3 majority of council to introduce it as a motion, and I do have a motion prepared for it.
Okay, thank you. So we'll look forward to that. Other new business? Not so much about new business, but just a report from the amalgamation working committee from the Hanover Police Service and the West Grey Police Service. More of an update as to where we are. Mark is handing out a press release, news release at this point in time, but I'd just like to say that both councils endorsed the feasibility study, and Councillor Cutting and myself, CEO or representative, which is at this point in time Carrie Mighton, has been working. We've been meeting on a very regular basis, Bev, trying to put some context to this. Working on one would be a costing formula, 2, the building, 3, Bev, what am I missing? The building, costing, communication process, and this is part of that to see just where we've been. We're not, at this point, ready for, we're working on public, certainly be opening it up soon to the public, but hopefully have some answers on what it may look or what it could look like, where it is. And we thought at this point in time, the group as a whole, and I can say that Mayor Patterson is making the same presentation tonight to the Hanover Council, but this is just to give you an idea of what the working group has been doing and for the last month and a half, 2 months. We've broke into a couple of subcommittees to do some of the work, as I said, and this is just a press release that the committee would like to put out here tonight for the press and for the community, because there is, I think, some more than just curious interest in the project as we're moving along. And that's about all that I'd have to say at this point in time, unless there's any questions. Rebecca?
When would we look forward? When would we look forward to the public consultation?
We're hopeful that the time schedule of the calendar would be sometime into November, when we have information. We know, a lot of the questions that are probably going to be asked. What would it look like? How are you going to come with a name, or do you have a name? A lot of that. So the committee itself, before we come out, we want to have as much information that we can give out. It certainly won't be anything that this is what is happening. It's just general information to questions, and it's going to take a little bit longer to get that portion of it done before we feel confident about going to a public meeting to be able to answer questions. Rebecca?
So you will have a funding formula organized that people could review at a public meeting in November?
I'm
That's the hope?
going to look at Bev. She was on that working
Yes,
group.
okay.
There was, to the main group, the amalgamated group, there was 2 or 3 options, I think, Bev, that were brought forward. It would have to be endorsed by council, but they have come up with a couple of formulas. Yes. Rob? Councillor Thompson?
How long do you think this is going to continue on, these talks?
Probably, I would say, we would be at a point within 6 weeks. It may be just to the next meeting. There has been some points of discussion,
Yeah.
Contentious issues,
Yeah.
that we could possibly come to a dead end and say, one or both municipalities would put a motion forward to end it.
Yeah, and I wish that would come forward before that time period, because West Gray's going to lose. As far as I'm concerned, West Gray's going to lose all the way around, because Hanover wants a police station over there. They want the name on it. I have never been in favor of this. It's nonsense, and we're wasting taxpayers' money on this.
Take that as your personal opinion, Mr. Thompson. Thank you. Very good. Anything else? Okay, I think, Don, you've had that, so that's where I am with that new business. Anything else under new business? Addendums, notice of motion. I think we have 2, 3 of them. Mark?
Yes, so there'd be 3 direct motions. The one would be regarding the childcare resolution. The second would be the Durham Library quote for the furnace AC unit, and the third one would be the bylaw to formally amend the subdivision agreement with DJ Land Developments, Inc., or Limited, to permit 2 model homes.
Okay. I'll need a 2/3 majority to introduce these 3 items. All those in favor? I declare we have the 2/3. Mark, hand them out. And I think, Carol, to the subdivision agreement with DJ Land? Fine. Okay, so noted. Look like anybody signing it. Didn't look like they did. Okay, well, in the essence of time, we'll do, the first one is on the bylaw 92 for the DJ land developments. I have a moved by Doug Hutchison, seconded by John A. Bell. Be it resolved that bylaw number 92, 2017, being a bylaw to amend bylaw number 54, 2017, being a bylaw that authorizes the mayor and the CEO, deputy clerk to enter into a subdivision agreement with DJ Land Developments Limited, be now read a first, second, and third time, passed and numbered, and that the said bylaw be signed by the mayor and the clerk, sealed with the seal of the corporation, and be engrossed in the bylaw book.
Should have sent out copies of the bylaws there. Take a look at it.
And just mark as the bylaw there, as it's drafted. If anybody wants to take a look at it, just hand those on down. John?
So if I can just...
Go ahead, Mark.
So basically, it would be an amendment to the existing subdivision agreement to allow the two model homes, subject to meeting the conditions in the present section 15 of the subdivision agreement, meaning they'd have to make sure that the grading plan is adhered to for the total subdivision, so there's no impact, shall we say, adverse impact on the future lots. So obviously, the two model homes, if approved, would be situated on two of the existing 13 lots, and make sure the grading and drainage is complied with.
Okay, thank you. Somebody don't want to sign anything down here, so need a seconder for that one. Okay. Any further questions on the motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That is carried. Okay. Councillor Lawrence is back. Thank you, Carol. Next one is dealing with can foam it for the installation of piping. Motion moved by Rob Thompson, seconded by Doug Hutchison. Be it resolved that the Council of the Municipality of West Grey hereby approves the quotation from Can Foam It, Can Do Homes, in the amount of $4,650 plus HST for installation of piping for the new furnace AC unit at the Durham Library to be funded from the Capital Facilities Reserve. Any questions or comments on this motion? Call the question. All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Okay. And the next one was the on quality childcare and declaring October 25th as the 17th annual Childcare Worker and Early Childhood Education Appreciation Day. I have a motion moved by R. Herget, seconded by Rob Thompson, whereas years of research confirm the benefits of high-quality childcare for young children's intellectual, emotional, social, and physical development and later life outcomes, and whereas childcare promotes the well-being of children and responds to the needs of parents, families, and the broader community by supporting quality of life so that citizens can fully participate in and contribute to the economic and social life of their community, and whereas many studies show that trained and knowledgeable early childhood educators and child care staff are the key to quality child care, and that good wages and working conditions are associated with higher job satisfaction and morale, lower staff turnover, which leads to higher quality education and care. Therefore, be it resolved that October 25th, 2017 be designated the 17th annual Child Care Worker and Early Childhood Educator Appreciation Day, in recognition of the education, dedication, and commitment of childcare workers to children, their families, and the quality of life of the community. Councillor Cutting. Beth.
I entirely agree on the importance of early childhood education and childcare workers. I do not agree with this motion saying that why would they bring in wages? They're trying to declare a day as Child Care Worker Appreciation Day, and yet they're talking about, you know, that they deserve good wages and good. What has that got to do with anything about an appreciation day for children? So I will not be supporting this. This is like a political little ramble in there that is not necessary when they're declaring a day for something like that.
Okay. Councillor Lawrence.
Where does it originate, with OPSA?
I think it's
QP?
It's a QP.
Yeah, so it's a union-based, I agree with Bev, if,
Yeah. It's the 17th annual. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, there are several daycare centers in our area, in our community. We know that the early years is very important as well for children. This is just stating that along with the many educators that we have, some of our first educators would be the young child early educator.
And if that's all it said, I would agree.
So would
But it goes on
you-
to say about money, and that's
Can
I
we
don't-
strike that and that good wages? We could just take those 4 words out and we would all be supportive?
If you
Oh,
want to
wait, and
change,
that good working conditions, let's just get rid of wages and.
I mean, it's just the whole whereas, that whole third paragraph should pretty well go.
I think Councillor Herget is putting forward an amendment
Amended.
to her motion that the words
Just wages.
"and that wages" and be stroked,
Sure.
and it just come in, "and working conditions are associated with higher job satisfaction and morale, lower staff turnover, which leads to high-quality education and
No,
care."
that's a union statement.
So,
I agree with
well,
supporting the
it's
day, but
Councillor
I don't
Herget
agree
that
with-
is proposing the amendment of taking out the good, that good wages, and that good wages.
I'll only agree to it if the whole third paragraph's taken out.
I actually would agree, if it's going to be that political of a maneuver, we could delete all 3 of the first paragraphs and recognize that October 25th be designated 17th Annual Child Care Worker and Early Childhood Education Appreciation Day.
Yep, I'm fine with that.
That's your motion. I'll
So
take
I'll
that
amend
as,
it to remove the first 3 paragraphs and continue on with October 25th being designated.
Yep.
and the seconder is okay? Okay. So the amendment was to eliminate the 3 whereas clauses and just go with therefore be resolved that October 25th, 2017 be designated the 17th Annual Child Care Worker and Early Childhood Educator Appreciation Day in recognition of education, dedication, and commitment of child care workers to children, their families, and quality of life of the community. Okay? That is the motion that we're voting on. Any further questions? All those in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Probably. Okay. That's it for notice of motions or direct motions, Mark. Closed session, we have none that I'm aware of. Question period. I'm going to take the audience first. Bev? Anyone in the audience? Don, your other brother, Don?
No, I just want to have one thing right on the lead. I just want to thank the Works Department for all the extra work and effort to do when I'm doing the subdivision over there, and also Mark for the many, many phone calls and questions, because it's a lot of work to always lead me the right way, and for the counselors that supported that. It is pretty exciting, like for me, living here and doing a small subdivision. Hopefully I'll do a bigger one, but it's a lot of work. For 13, I couldn't imagine how much work it's going to be for up top of the hill. But it's exhausted me for time and all the loopholes you got. You think you're almost done, and you just got to jump into another one between hydro and gas and Wightman's, and it just doesn't end. Every day there's Brent was out today and helped me out with stuff. But I think it's going to be good, and it was exciting to see that blacktop down today. So, and I said there's seven sold, and they're all local people from Durham here that have bought them, and they would all be sold if I would have had them all of them up. I'm sure they all would have been. So, just again, I want to thank you for cooperating and making it as easy as you could. That's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Don. Any other questions? You good, Don? Any questions from council? Beth? Got your mic?
I'm just
Sorry.
wondering,
There was a second clerk's report in this particular draft, and it was talking about the Halton Hills, the town of Halton Hills, and the bylaw that they, or the, sorry, the resolution that they wanted about the anti-racism, anti-hate crime.
That was
Oh, that's in the
consent,
consent.
and it was,
Oh, clerk, yeah, okay, sorry, I saw the clerk and I thought it was, right,
Okay.
okay.
no,
It was
I-
in the consent
when you
agenda.
said that, yeah, it went through consent.
Thank you.
and it's approved. Okay. Any other questions? Mr. Glazier? Brent?
One quick one, Your Worship, just to advise council that I am holding an open house this coming Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. here. This is, and it's for an open house for concession for residents to come in and review the engineered plans that we have completed and give them an opportunity to review the scope of the work and how it affects their land. Really, idealistically, it doesn't really affect the landowners, but just so that they're in the know of what is going on in that respect. So I welcome any councillor to join me that evening if you wish to be on hand to, so whether you support me or not, but
Throw daggers at throw stones. Carol?
How have they been notified?
there was letters sent out to them, Councillor Lawrence. Yep.
All the property owners.
Just
the
for
area
adjacent,
work.
just adjacent the work, not all concession for, just the and proposed work that we're planning on. So it gives them, again, I'm following through with the strategic plan of keeping the public notified and offering them the opportunity for comment on the proposed project.
And that's basically between the Mulock Road and the Peyton Pit.
Just about 200 meters past Allen Park Road to the west. So it's approximately 2.3 km, give or take.
That's in there. That was in the budget proposed. Okay. Any other questions or comments? No municipal act notices, Mark. So I would look for motion 20. Councillor Herget has that up. I'll accept that. Thank you very much, Rebecca. We will stand adjourned. And Mark, we've got 30 minutes of good stuff ahead. Thank you.